So, electric cars. They're the future, right? Supposed to be super smooth, totally silent, clean, just better. But what if I told you that in a place like Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, this amazing new technology is actually making people, well, sick? Yeah, you heard me. Let's get into why.
And we're not talking about just a little bit of queasiness here. For ride-hailing drivers, this is a huge deal. It's their livelihood. It got so bad that one guy, Ermias Wadaj Tigbaru, who's the founder of this new app we're going to talk about, felt it himself and just knew he had to do something about it.
I mean, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? A smoother ride should mean a better ride. So how on earth is it making people sick? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating, and it all has to do with how our brains are wired to understand the world around us.
All right, so let's get a little scientific here. The whole problem boils down to something called a sensory mismatch. Basically, your brain is getting two completely different stories from its spies, your eyes and your inner ears, and it totally freaks out because it can't figure out which one is telling the truth. Okay, think about it. Most of us grew up with regular gas cars. You know the drill. You hear the engine rumble, you feel the car gradually slow down when you ease off the gas. Our brains have spent our whole lives learning these cues. But electric vehicles, they're a whole different animal. They're dead silent, they can go from 0 to 60 in a blink, and they have this thing called regenerative braking, which means the second you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car brakes pretty hard but with zero sound. So your eyes are seeing you slow down, but your ears, they're hearing nothing. The brain's just like, wait, what's going on? And that sensory disconnect, that's the real problem. It throws your vestibular system, that's the fancy name for the balance center in your inner ear, into total chaos. And here's the wild part. When your brain gets that confused, it jumps to a really primal conclusion. It thinks, uh-oh, I must have been poisoned. And what's the body's go-to defense against poison? Exactly. It makes you feel sick. So if the problem is basically your brain freaking out, how do you fix it? Well, you don't just hand out sickness bags. You have to treat the root cause. And that is exactly what Ermias Vadachi Tegbarudi did with his incredibly smart app, GasPulse. And what's so cool about this is it's not some complicated piece of hardware you have to install. Nope, it's just software. The app cleverly uses the sensors already built into your smartphone to figure out what the car is doing. It's such a simple, elegant solution, it basically turns the phone you already own into a personal driving coach. And that's the key right there. It's like having a little instructor sitting next to you. See, the app isn't just trying to mask the problem by, playing some distracting music. No, it's actively teaching the driver how to drive smoother so they stop causing that sensory mismatch to begin with. Okay, so how does this little digital coach actually do its job? It all revolves around a really smart but simple real-time feedback system. They call it the coaching loop. So here's the play-by-play. First, your phone's sensors are constantly on the lookout, and they detect when you brake or accelerate too hard. As soon as you cross a certain G-force threshold, boom, it triggers a response. And that's when the coaching begins. And this is where it gets really, really clever. The coaching isn't just one thing. It hits multiple senses at once. You might get a little voice prompt in Amharic or English telling you to ease up. You might feel your phone give a little buzz. And get this. The app can actually play the familiar sound of a good old Toyota Corolla engine right when you're braking hard. It fills in that missing audio cue and gives your brain exactly what it was expecting to hear. So when you combine that voice, that vibration, and that sound, you create this incredibly powerful feedback loop. It actually retrains the driver's muscle memory. The goal isn't a temporary fix. It's to create new, permanent, smoother driving habits. But it turns out the benefits don't even stop there. Yeah, so once drivers started using this app to make the ride more comfortable for their passengers, they started noticing some pretty amazing side effects that had nothing to do with motion sickness. And here is the big one. Get this. Driving smoother actually improves the car's battery range by 10 to 15%. Now, for anyone who's ever had range anxiety in an EV, you know that is an absolutely massive deal. The app even gamifies it a little. It calculates a live sickness risk score from 0 to 100. Every time you drive harshly, this score goes up. Drive smoothly, it goes down. And you can even share that score with your passenger's phone over Bluetooth, so they have proof that you're actually getting better. So the difference is just night and day. Before, you've got this jerky, harsh braking, a super high sickness risk, and let's be honest, unhappy passengers. But after using GasPulse, you've got smooth habits, a nice low risk score, and a ride that feels comfortable and familiar for everybody in the car.
So, to wrap it all up, what we have here is a patented innovation out of Ethiopia that takes a very modern problem and solves it with an incredibly elegant software-only solution. It brings together real-time detection and smart, multi-sensory feedback to not only stop motion sickness in its tracks, but also to make electric cars more efficient. It's a win-win.
You know, an app this simple is just such a powerful reminder of what's possible with the tech we all carry around in our pockets. I mean, if a phone can coach us to be better drivers, it makes you wonder, right? What else could it teach us to do? The possibilities, they really are endless.